How are you doing today, Del?
Good, good.
What brings you here?
People want to begin to understand their Aboriginal treaty rights, and that's the reason I'm here, to help them understand it. I'd like to thank my friend here for inviting me up, and I know it's a great cause, but you know, the same thing is happening all over the place. I guess history's moving along, and sometimes they try to hold us back by trying to keep us under these old racist laws that are actually still in place. But the only good thing has been that Section 35 and 25 now protects your rights. But the problem everybody has is, what are our rights? Okay, this is a question you're going to have to get answered as you slowly develop what your Aboriginal and treaty rights are, if you want to look at the treaty part of it as well. But that's the good thing about that is it supersedes both federal and provincial law. And the other problem that I know you have with the province is that the province is not a state, so they can't enforce anything on your lands at all, or even you know, the treaty areas. I guess once you learn your rights, you'll begin to develop maybe harvesting in all your treaty areas. But you own it. You own all the land. I'm also a historian. I've probably worked on about 400 different kinds of land claims, so I know your rights inside out. And we just haven't, you know, it's been a big delay since the Constitution got accepted, but now our people, not just here, all over the place, are trying to learn what their rights really are. But you also need to know how those rights your rights will always supersede both federal and provincial law. So there's a lot of gray areas out there that haven't been resolved yet, and those are going to have to be resolved. But the other problem that's been left to you is that John A. Macdonald, when he set up the Indian Act, the Racist Indian Act, he also created the chiefs and councils. And actually, they shouldn't even be called chiefs and councils, because they're just John A. Macdonald clubs. He never gave them any authority. But you haven't needed any to now, because nobody's even talked about their rights much. And nobody's been that well educated, so it's changing now. Now you need to know. And, but in any event, you've got a situation here that your only real authority has been are your traditional people, whoever holds the your various clans. That's the only authority you've got. The chief and council are servants of the minister. He pays them. And the only authority that they actually have is within the Indian Act. And I think they have two areas they can make bylaws. That's noxious weeds and beekeeping. So you make a couple of bylaws there. But you know, this stuff is from 1876, and they've been using the Indian Act to hold you down, to ensure that you never were able to develop an economy. You got to develop an economy. You should have. How come you don't have 5% unemployment, huh? What do you have? 70%?
Yeah, 70%.
70. Yeah. And how about the other people out there? What are they down to? 5% now? Look at that disparity. This is the only way they're going to come out, is to talk about it and to learn. But you're going to have, there's a lot of work to do. You're going to have to figure out how this is all going to come out in the end. But your rights are there, and they're guaranteed. That can't change. Okay, thanks, folks. I'm glad you invited me, and I've got a lot of other places to go to as well. And hopefully we can get this racism out of the Indian Act.
So the chief spoke about the cannabis law, and that they're making regulations, and that was backed up by the band administrator. Said that the law, they had seek advice on it from a lawyer, and they had it prepared, and it was approved by council, and now it's coming out to the people to get the people's input.
But is this the first you've heard of this?
That's the very first I've heard of it, yeah.
And they didn't say when it was approved by council?
They didn't say when it was approved by council, but they said I was going to get a copy of it within the next week.
What happened in there was Wayne Pamajuan decided that it doesn't matter who says what or who does what. He will continue to do as he pleases. There is no consideration that our inherent rights to have medicines of our own choosing is something that, you know, that he can sweep under the table. He's an Indian Act Indian, for lack of a better term. I've been called it because I speak up. And maybe I'm not a traditional Indian, but I do speak up. What he did was total Indian Act Indian. And as Dell puts it, he's a Sir John A. Macdonald lackey. What happened in there was a dictator deciding this is what we're doing. There were no council in there. It was asked why council wasn't in there as part of it. And all Wayne could say was, well, I invited them. We've heard things like that from him before. When we want information, we don't get it. There is nothing under this governance that protects the membership. They talked about being fearful that the bikers would come up with all the cocaine and all this other stuff. It's already in our community. What's legal in our community is being punished. What's illegal in our community is being allowed. We've got hydromorphone, we've got Percocets, we've got all sorts of controlled substance drugs flowing through our community. He allows it. APS is still over there. I've got every APS officer here for a peaceful rally, but yet we've got a lot of unlawful activity going on in this community that he allows, and they turn a blind eye to it.